There was a lot of blowback this weekend over a decision on the part of NBC. We told you about it last week, to hire Ronna McDaniel as an analyst. She's the former RNC head, right? She was the RNC head under Trump. She rode the RNC train while Trump was president. And she essentially played the election lie and all the other Trump stuff through his tenure as president. And so she just stepped down, as you know, to make room for a Trump family member. Trump family members always have a better sense of what an organization should be doing. And so they bumped McDaniel, and she floated around and ended up at NBC News. And NBC News hires her as this political commentator, like Chris Christie was hired by ABC on that panel, like Donna Brazile is hired by ABC as well. So it's not unprecedented to have somebody like a Ronna McDaniel show up on the panel. The unprecedented part is sort of the new political environment in which we live, which is associated with somebody who's an election denier, somebody who was strong-arming or at least on the call from Trump that strong-armed Georgia election officials. It's a little bit of a bridge too far to have someone like that on the panel. So at NBC News, there was huge blowback. I mean, everybody was surprised by this hire and then appalled by this hire and then repulsed by this hire. And you ended up on the air with people like Chuck Todd, who's their political director and the former host of Meet the Press, saying on Meet the Press, this is a bad idea. Tony's got a mashup of some stuff over the weekend in reaction, I think, this morning as well. Go ahead, Tony, please.
With the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I think our bosses owe you an apology for putting you in this situation, because I don't know what to believe. She is now a paid contributor by NBC News. So I have no idea whether any answer she gave to you was because she didn't want to mess up her contract. She wants us to believe that she was speaking for the RNC when the RNC was paying for her. So she has credibility issues that she still has to deal with.
Yeah.
Is she speaking for herself, or is she speaking on behalf of who's paying her? Once at the RNC, she did say that, hey, I'm speaking for the party. I get that. That's part of the job. So what about here? I will say this. I think your interview did a good job of exposing, I think, many of the contradictions. And look, there's a reason why there's a lot of journalists at NBC News uncomfortable with this, because many of our professional dealings with the RNC over the last 6 years have been met with gaslighting, have been met with character assassination. So it is, that's where you begin here. So I do think, unfortunately, this interview is always going to be looked through the prism of who is she speaking for, right? I think you did everything you could do. You got put into an impossible situation, booking this interview, and then all of a sudden the rugs pull out from under you. You find out she's being paid to show up. It's unfortunate for this program, but I am glad you did the best that you could.
Yeah. I think it continues, right, Tony? Or not?
No? The hiring of former RNC.
No?
Sorry, that's all I got. That's all I got.
Okay, that's cool. That was a good little drill down on, what is that? What is that? Morning Joe or something?
The other one you sent me.
Play a little bit of that. This is the other reaction. I'm just trying to give folks a sense of the reaction. Yeah. So these guys are on
Ronna
MSNBC,
McDaniel.
obviously.
Well, she was on Sunday's Meet the Press. It was her first appearance since NBC News hired her as a political analyst. I know you won't be surprised to know that we've been inundated with calls this weekend, as have most people connected with this network, about NBC's decision to hire her. We learned about the hiring when we read about it in the press on Friday. We weren't asked our opinion of the hiring, but if we were, we would have strongly objected to it for several reasons, including, but not limited to, as lawyers might say, Ms. McDaniel's role in Donald Trump's fake elector scheme and her pressuring election officials to not certify election results while Donald Trump was on the phone.
To be clear, we believe NBC News should seek out conservative Republican voices to provide balance in their election coverage. But it should be conservative Republicans, not a person who used her position of power to be an anti-democracy election denier. And we hope NBC will reconsider its decision.
Okay, that's
it goes
good.
without
Thank you.
saying
You
that
get
she will.
you get a sense for it. So it didn't go down well. McDaniel said she was kind of towing the line. She, in conversation with Welker, was asked about her election denying, and she sort of said, "I was towing the line for taking one for the team," is what she literally said. So you get, I mean, the other thing that is, I think, important about Ronna McDaniel is that she was attacking the press. When Trump continues to call the press the enemy of the people, I mean, there are real people involved in the press and bringing information to us. And those people are fearing for their lives oftentimes in some of these environments in which they are demonized and talked about as enemies of the state. I mean, it's a classic strongman move.
How do you fight against
Ronna
the
McDaniel,
truth?
yeah,
Right?
and Ronna McDaniel was not only backing that up, but she was amplifying it. So what's that, Kim?
I said, how do you fight against the truth? How do you fight against true stories that are coming out? You try to discredit. You do anything you can to discredit the people who are telling you the truth.
And it's been effective. I mean, the faith in media is way, way down. But more to the point, and this is something that has really been, and I want to talk to David K. Johnson a little bit about this tomorrow. This has really been taken advantage of, if that's a way you can say it, by the Trump team, and continues to be by the Republicans who sort of want to dismantle government. The trust in government is at an all-time low in the modern age. So you end up with government not being trusted. So it's much easier to dismantle those institutions that are associated with regulatory protections, et cetera, because no one is trusting anything. And then you also add the press to that so that all the information becomes suspect. You can see we're in a situation, but a lot of it, the gaslighting associated with this and the way in which the government and press is characterized has been pounded into us by Trump and Ronna McDaniel, who was really doing Trump's bidding while she was head of the RNC. So, anyway, that's the latest on that. And I don't know if she's going to make it. I mean, there's a lot of blowback. I mean, sometimes controversy is good for you. The more blowback and more controversial a decision is, it can oftentimes bring more attention and more viewers to the screen. And I don't know if this falls into that. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.